So today, we're going to take a look at a really detailed blueprint for a tool in the fight against misinformation. It's a proposed AI system. It's called VeriGuard, and it's designed to be a real-time fact checker that pretty much anyone could use. So let's dive into how it's all supposed to work.
And this right here really gets to the absolute heart of the problem. This quote, it's pulled directly from the research behind this project. And it's not just a feeling, it's a reality backed by a lot of data. Misinformation is literally engineered to go viral. It taps into our emotions, which gives it this massive head start in the race for our attention. It's not just spreading, it's sprinting past the truth. And that right there is the big question, isn't it? When our digital world is almost perfectly designed to help falsehoods win, what can we actually do about it? Well, this whole project is basically an attempt to answer that very question, to build a tool that can help us tell the difference between fact and fiction right in the moment when it matters most. Okay, so before we jump into the solution, let's just take a second to frame the problem itself, what a lot of people are calling the infodemic. The amount of content hitting us every single day is just staggering, and that's the battlefield this tool has to fight on. Look, we have some absolutely incredible human-powered fact-checking groups out there, but their work is painstaking, and because of that, it's slow. The problem is just pure scale. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. They just cannot keep. Time system isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's critical. And that brings us to the core of what we're talking about today, the proposed solution. So let's meet VeriGuard, a system designed from the ground up to be that automated line of defense we've been talking about. So what is it really? Well, according to this blueprint, VeriGuard is an AI tool that uses something called natural language processing, which is just a fancy way of saying we're teaching a computer to understand human language with all its quirks. The idea is to analyze news articles almost instantly, giving you a quick credibility check right when you need it. Now, what's really important here is that VeriGuard isn't designed to just give you a thumbs up or thumbs down. It's more nuanced. It'll classify an article as likely real, likely fake, or, and this is key, uncertain, for those times when there just isn't enough information to make a solid call. Then it backs that up with a percentage score and even gives you links to verified sources so you can check the work yourself. All right, let's pop the hood for a minute and see what's powering this thing. How does an AI system like this actually think? How does it read an article and come to a conclusion? For you, the user, the whole process is designed to be super simple. It all starts when you paste in a link to an article. Behind the scenes, the system grabs all the text, cleans it up, and feeds it to the AI model. That model does all the heavy lifting, analyzing sentence structure, word choice, you name it, before it spits out a final verdict and an explanation. It looks simple on the outside, but there's a ton going on under the hood. Now, to get that analysis right, the team actually tested a few different AI brains. They looked at some simpler models, but ultimately they landed on a model called DistilBERT. Think of it like this. Some of the other models are really good at just spotting keywords. But DistilBERT, it understands context. It gets the nuance of how words are used together, which is way more powerful. That's what gives it the perfect mix of speed and accuracy you need for a tool like this. Okay, so we've covered the problem and we've looked at the tech. But what would it actually feel like to use VeriGuard? How does all that complex stuff turn into a tool you can use every day? First thing, and maybe the most important, speed. The whole system is designed to give you an answer in 3 seconds or less, and that is absolutely non-negotiable. For a tool like this to be useful, it can't slow you down. It has to work at the speed of curiosity. And of course, speed doesn't mean a thing without accuracy. The target here is an F1 score of 92% or higher. Now, in simple terms, the F1 score is just a way of measuring accuracy that balances 2 important things, being good at catching fake news, but also being good at not accidentally flagging real news. Hitting a number that high is what builds trust. So here's how all those technical goals actually help you. The real-time analysis, that means you get instant answers. The credibility report gives you a full breakdown. But honestly, the real game changer here is the Explainability Panel. This is the feature that's designed to show you exactly why an article got the score it did. Maybe it used sensational language, maybe it cited questionable sources. It doesn't just give you an answer, it actually helps you learn what to look for yourself. This all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But how do you actually build something like this? Well, this proposal isn't just a daydream. It actually comes with a super detailed plan. So let's look at the roadmap for taking VeriGuard from a concept to a real working app. The whole thing is laid out in a pretty ambitious 16-week sprint. It kicks off with all the foundational stuff, analysis and design. Then you get to the real heart of it, a full month dedicated to just training and fine-tuning that AI model. It's only after that brain is solid that development on the actual app begins, followed by a whole lot of testing before it ever goes live. It's a really logical and thorough plan.
And that kind of brings us to our final thought here. We've just walked through a seriously detailed blueprint that, believe it or not, started as a university project. It proves that the technology for these kinds of tools isn't science fiction anymore. It's here. So the big question it leaves us with is this. What's it really going to take to get tools like VeriGuard built into our browsers, our social media feeds, into our daily lives? Definitely something to think about.